Good evening, Engineer De Solo and classmates. Our group will be discussing airworthiness engineers. The outline of our presentation includes an introduction, the roles and responsibilities of airworthiness engineer, their skills and qualification, and other important information and some reference videos. For the introduction, we will be discussing airworthiness engineers and their importance in the aviation industry. So first, what is airworthiness? Airworthiness in aviation refers to an aircraft's suitability for a safe flight. So let's move on to the main topic of this presentation, airworthiness engineers. Aircraft are checked by airworthiness engineers to make sure they are safe to fly and comply with all the relevant aviation regulation. These engineers regularly work with software systems that test an aircraft's airworthiness. Airworthiness engineers undergo training on how to operate and utilize very advanced aircraft software systems. An engineer who work in the field of airworthiness will also need to be familiar with system safety. The importance of airworthiness engineers is that they are the ones conducting airworthiness evaluations to assist and coordinate design development, modification, and equipment failure investigation.
Moving on with our next topic would be the roles and responsibilities of an airworthiness engineer. First and foremost, as an airworthiness engineer, you will be responsible for liaising with authorities in terms of quality, safety, and compliance of the aircrafts. With this, you have the role of coordinating all aspects of the continuous certification process with all applicable national aviation authorities. These are, for example, the EASA, FAA, and here in the Philippines, CAAP. Also, the airworthiness engineer would be responsible for acting as a liaison between the client, lead captain, and operations and MRO, the aviation maintenance, repair, and overhaul for any airworthiness related matters. As an airworthiness engineer, they also have to review and ensure compliance with the airworthiness directive and technical directives. So what are those? In aviation, both airworthiness directives and technical directives are used to address safety concerns and guarantee that all aircrafts are maintained and operated safely. Airworthiness directives are issued by aviation authorities and applied to all aircraft of a specific kind or model. They are mandatory and must be followed by the operators and owners of those aircraft. Technical directives, on the other hand, are issued by the aircraft manufacturer or other organizations and may apply to specific components or systems aboard the aircraft. So this all means that an airworthiness engineer must oversee these mandatory directives and ensure that those applicable are scheduled for accomplishment within the required time limits, and he or she must ensure that all aircraft and related systems comply with regulatory requirements and standards. And as of course, since the airworthiness is the number one priority of the airworthiness engineer, he or she has the role of managing fleet reliability programs regarding airworthiness. This also includes assisting and ensuring the maintenance programs, risk management programs, and quality assurance for the airworthiness of aircrafts.
Next, for the responsibilities, an airworthiness engineer also provides all necessary help to our design engineers. Airworthiness engineers and design engineers collaborate closely throughout the design process to ensure that aircrafts are safe, efficient, and compliant with regulatory requirements and standards. For example, at the beginning of the design process, the design engineer creates the initial design concepts for the aircraft. The airworthiness engineer then reviews this concept to ensure that they meet regulatory requirements and standards related to airworthiness. They also identify any potential safety hazard or issues that may arise during the design process. Next, an airworthiness engineer provides airworthiness assessment by evaluating the design, maintenance, and operation of an aircraft to ensure that it is safe and compliant with regulatory requirements and standards. This is done through reviewing design documents, which is documents pertaining to the maintenance and inspection procedures for the aircraft or product to ensure that they are adequate to ensure continued airworthiness. Next, conducting those inspections for the aircrafts, performance monitoring, conducting tests on the aircrafts, and then from all of that, developing recommendations for any necessary repairs modifications, or upgrades to the aircraft. They may also recommend changes to maintenance or operational procedures on what they see fit to improve the airworthiness of the aircraft and its operations. And lastly, an airworthiness engineer may produce training for personnel involved in aircraft maintenance and operations. And this is to ensure that they are aware of airworthiness requirements and are capable of maintaining the aircraft in a safe and airworthy condition. The airworthiness engineer may develop training programs or materials related to maintenance procedures, inspection techniques, or operational requirements. These trainings may be conducted in person or through online training programs. The airworthiness engineer may also work with other departments or organizations to develop and implement training programs related to airworthiness. For example, they may collaborate with a training organization to develop and deliver courses on airworthiness related topics. Additionally, the airworthiness engineer may provide ongoing training and support to personnel involved in aircraft maintenance and operations. They may conduct audits or inspections to ensure that maintenance and operational procedures are being followed correctly and identify any areas for improvement. So now that we've established the roles and responsibilities of an airworthiness engineer, the question may arise that does this imply that an airworthiness engineer is mostly the same as a reliability engineer is? The answer is no. Both professions are not actually the same in aviation. While both roles are significant in ensuring safe and reliable operations of aircraft, they have different areas of focus. An airworthiness engineer basically is the one in charge of ensuring that aircraft design, maintenance, and operations comply with all the regulatory standards in which an aircraft will be safe for flight. Overall, they are in charge of all aspects of aircraft airworthiness, including compliance, maintenance, testing, certification, documentation, risk management, quality assurance, and then training. Just like what all my co-reporter and I have said a while ago. A reliability engineer, on the other hand, is in charge of finding and assessing the reasons for faults or malfunctions in aviation systems, components, or processes. They forecast and avoid these failures using data analysis and statistical methodologies. And then from that, they will create and implement possible solutions to increase the dependability and maintainability of these aviation systems. While there is some overlap in their responsibilities, the focus of the two roles is different. An airworthiness engineer is primarily concerned with ensuring that the aircraft or product meets regulatory requirements and is safe to operate, while a reliability engineer is focused on improving the reliability and availability of the aircraft system and its components. So let's not confuse them with one another.
Let us now move on to the skills and qualifications needed for an airworthiness engineer. Airworthiness engineers ensures that our aircraft are fit to fly and comply with the aviation regulations. These said engineers deal with aircraft and associated software systems that test for airworthiness on a daily basis. So let us know what does an airworthiness engineer do. Their task includes day-to-day use of design certificates, drawings, test reports provided by a system specialist and equipment suppliers, and it is likely that an airworthiness engineers operate as a team, so compiling a detailed document is their job to certify an aircraft and imposing any necessary limitations. Other jobs might include conduct airworthiness assessments to support and guide design development, modification, equipment failure investigations, assist in development and deliver of airworthiness capabilities, provide airworthiness support and DDP certifications to support airworthiness of equipments, generates reports surrounding project and assessments, undertake regular audits in accordance with quality control regulations. So in order to perform this job, these are the skills that an airworthiness engineers need to possess. These skills proves useful for an airworthiness engineer. So these skills are product design, aircraft safety knowledge, stakeholder management, project management skills, professional registrations, design certification experience within an aerospace organization, previous OEM aircraft operation experience, excellent communication skills, and of course, team player, and lastly, strong problem solving and decision making skills.
Good evening, Engineer De Solo. I am Andrew Dominic G. Camco, and I will be continuing the presentation for the skills and qualifications of an airworthiness engineer. So, what are the qualifications for an airworthiness engineer? Becoming an airworthiness engineer offers a lot of opportunity and guaranteed high annual salary. However, it provides challenges the same as the opportunity it gives and takes a lot of experience and knowledge to be part of a team of said airworthiness engineers. Here are some qualifications needed for you to enter an organization as an airworthiness engineer. First would be a university degree in aerospace or aeronautical engineering or in engineering mechanics with major in aircraft structure. Second would be conversant with federal aviation regulations or joint aviation regulations, airworthiness standards, policies, and procedures. Third would be familiar with the ICAO annexes and documentations. Fourth would be knowledge of both military and civil airworthiness regulations. Next would be the experience of Boeing and Airbus standards would be an advantage. And lastly, a minimum of 10 years diversified experience in modification, repair, overhaul, maintenance, and maintenance activities of wide and narrow body aircraft, knowledge of different phases of aircraft structure, design, and manufacture, engine installation, engine certification, power plant operating characteristics, power plant control systems, lighting and high-intensity radiated field considerations on power plant installations, power plant vibration, induction systems and foreign object ingestion, and failure and safety analysis is highly desirable. So as you can see and as we have discussed, these are very specific and very technical qualifications to become an airworthiness engineer. You cannot become one just by having a degree in aerospace or aeronautical engineering, as we are wanting to complete hopefully by this year. So it doesn't mean that you are a graduate of aeronautical engineering and you may have your license already. Doesn't mean that you will be able to work as an airworthiness engineer. This specifically requires that you have extensive experience in the field, of course, as it says here, a minimum of 10 years. And aside from that, you must be familiar with not only the FARs but also the JARs, with the ICAO annexes and its documentations. And of course, experience in Boeing and Airbus, which is very important because companies have big airline companies, as we all know, may both have both Airbus and Boeing aircrafts. So with this, I'll hand it to the next presenter.
Here are the companies who offer jobs for airworthiness engineers. The first one is the First People Solution in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, UK. The Lineup Aviation in France, Europe. The Resource Group in Malta, Europe also. The Canadian Aviation Electronics, Spark Aviation in Ireland, also in Europe. The Rockwell Technologies Incorporated in Huntsville, Alabama. The SMA, Byron, in California. How much does an airworthiness engineer make? The national average salary for an airworthiness engineer is $65,566 in Canada. Filter by location to see airworthiness engineer salaries in the area. Salary estimates are based on 5 salaries submitted anonymously to the reference, which is the Glassdoor by airworthiness engineer employees. The estimated total pay for an airworthiness engineer is $120,367 per year, while the average airworthiness engineer salary in the USA is $135,800 per year, or $65.29 per hour. Entry-level position starts at $109,500 per year, while most experienced workers make up to $166,000 per year.
Conclusion. The design of specified safety criteria is mostly the responsibility of airworthiness authorities and engineers who create official requirement guide. The manuals provide operating specification, minimal safety specification, suggested procedures, and design data. The safety standards integrated into every aspect of an aircraft's design to determine its airworthiness. They cover everything from structural stability to the availability of specific safety measures in the case of engine failures, as well as design specifications for the electrical, hydraulic, and aerodynamic system. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and here are some reference video to give you some ideas about airworthiness engineers.